not to say that there is nothing you can do about it. You might have I think my network on that one went off. You might have gotten to a space where you felt that all was lost. You felt that nothing else is coming. You felt that you are not going to make it. But listen, you got to rise again. You got to bounce back. You got to look at it in a different perspective. Look at it with a different lens, right? Bounce back from that. You may have encountered defeat, but you must not be defeated. Rise up and move. You might not have been defeated. Rise up and push. Rise up and get to work. Rise up and get to do the things that need to be done in order to get to where you need to do. Rise up again from that failure, from that place that you found yourself to be defeated. Rise up again, right? Do not be judged, or do not let anybody judge you by your defeat, or by your success, sorry, right? Let them judge you by how many times you are able to get up. You fallen isn't the end, right? You fallen is only but that time. It's only but that minute. It's only but that ability for you to get up again and move. Thanks, guys, for jumping on here. Please share to be a blessing to somebody. Share to be a blessing to someone, right? So rise up again. Rise up again. And don't sell yourself short. So never be judged, never judge anybody by their success, right? But how many times they are able to get up and bounce back? How are you able to get up from that space where you find yourself as everything is lost? From that space where you find yourself as though nothing good is coming out from your situation? From that space where you find yourself to be like nobody is relating to you anymore? You got to find that ability. You got to find that energy. Dig deep and find that little voice to rise again, that little voice to bounce back again, that little voice, and keep moving, bounce back, right? Throughout the storms, throughout the struggles, throughout the things that you don't seem like, oh, things are going well for you, bounce back from it. Get yourself up. Good vibes, how are you doing? Right? Because failure is simply the opportunity for us to begin again, an opportunity for us to start again, an opportunity for us to do it again. This time, doing it right. This time, doing it with all ability. This time, doing it with all energy. This time, doing it intelligently. It is never done or never settled until you say it is done, until you say you are tired, until you say it is settled. It is never done. Never ever again, right? Would you stay at that same space that you find yourself? Never stay there again. It is okay to feel like you cannot go on. It is okay to grieve a little bit, but get yourself up and push. Get yourself up and keep moving. Get yourself up and keep going on. Bounce back. Arise or rise again. Rise again from that struggle. Rise again from that pain. Rise again from that space you find yourself to be, that you seem like everything is crashing in on you. Arise or rise again. Turn those wounds into wisdom. Turn those wounds into wins. Turn those failures into wins. Use them as a stepping stone. If you are new here and you don't know who this is, what this is a Dose of Encouragement Incorporated, and I am your founder and host of A Dose of Encouragement. My name is Amanda Krufi Ayer. Welcome to our live. We do this every Saturday morning. This is one aspect of what we mostly about, which is supporting the needy as much as we can. And every Saturday we come your way to learn from you as you learn from us. So rise up again. Gusto, Vanessa, City of God, how are you doing? Rise up again. Rise up and build. Rise up and keep pushing. Rise up, right? Turn those wounds into wisdom. I salute you to my brother, come your testimony. Turn it into wisdom. Turn it into something great. Turn it into something greater, right? Turn those wounds into the wisdom that you need. Because as I said, failure is just an opportunity for you to redo it again. It doesn't matter what the optics look like. It doesn't matter where you find yourself. It doesn't matter what people are saying about you. It doesn't matter what you feel in that moment of your failure, right? But remember this, as a man thinketh, so is he. As a man thinketh, so he becomes. As a man thinketh, so he attracts. So what do you think of yourself? Do you see yourself as though that those obstacles are in, you cannot do anything again? Those struggles are in, you are a failure. Is that what you are saying to yourself? Is that what you see yourself? Rosalind, Seluka, how are you doing? Is that how you see yourself? Right? Because it is an opportunity to redo it again. And this time, doing it with intelligent, doing it with wisdom, doing it with greatness, doing it with as if or though you know what you are about because you've been there before. Right? Because you've been there before. You've been in that situation before. So this time you coming back strong. This time come back great. This time come back well prepared. Right? You might have failed, but don't stay there. You might have hit rock bottom. Don't stay there. You might have hit that space where you feel like you cannot go anymore, where you feel like you're getting suffocated, but do not stay there. Let that rock bottom become that solid foundation that you rebuild on. Let that rock bottom become that foundation that you rise back off from. Let that rock bottom be that space where you can look back and say, I was here one time, but I was able to get up. Guys, double tap, double tap, double tap on the screen for us. If you are on TikTok, double tap on our screen for us, right? Let TikTok know that we are here and we are not robot and we are human beings, right? So let that be that source for you to bounce back on, right? Let it be that. Let it be one said that, hey, I was here. I was drowning. I thought all was lost. I thought nothing good was going to come out of me. I thought I was done. But I was able to use that rock button to bounce back. Let it be said of you. Let it be said of you. Courtney, how are you doing? Silva, how are you doing? Let it be said of you. Rise again. Rise again from that space. Rise again from that failure. Guys, if you do have any questions, put it in the chat for us. If you do have any comments as well, put it in the chat for us as well. Rise again. Right? Many a times we get to that space, we get to places where we find ourselves as though nothing else, nothing good will come from us. Cody, how are you doing? And we ask ourselves, how do we get out of here? How do we jump back up from here? How do we get to the space where we used to be? Right? Aroya said, you don't lose when you get knocked down. You lose if you stay there. So don't stay there. You are down here. Don't stay down here. Rise again. It might not be easy. It might not come easy. But that little steps that you make makes a whole difference. Those little steps that we take makes huge difference. So you might have hit rock bottom, you might have lost this time, but you are only going to lose if you stay there. Love Money, how are you doing? Um, Ariel, how are you doing? Mickey, how are you doing? You only fail if you stay down there. So yes, I have hit rock bottom. Yes, things are not going well for me. Yes, it feels like it's done. It feels like everything I've struggled for is going down the drain. If you stay there, you've lost. But if you sit up, if you get yourself together again, if you jump back in it, if you say to yourself that I will not stay down here, but I will rise again. I will bounce back. No matter how long it takes me, no matter what I have to do, no matter what time it will take, then you can bounce back. Then you can really bounce back. So rise again. Rise again from that pain. Rise again from that struggle. Rise again from that job that it seems, or that business that it seems that nothing else is going. Rise again. Right? Rise again. And never let anybody push you down. Never let anybody tell you that you cannot get back on your feet. But as I always say, if you decide to stay there, then that is where you will be. Because until you decide to get yourself up from you being knocked down, you will remain staying down here. You will remain staying down here. So don't stay down here. Arise. Arise and push. Arise and keep going. Arise. It is never too late to do that. It is never too late to bounce back. It is never too late to dust yourself off and say that, hey, I have sat here way too long. It is never too late. I always say that a setback is always, setback is always a setback, a step up for coming back, right? When we fall, that is a stepping stone for our comeback. When we fall, that is a stepping stone for us to say that we are going to do things differently. So rise again, right? Rise again. You will be restored. Rise again. You will get there. Rise again. You will get to that space that you never thought you would get to. Only if you rise again. Only if you are willing to retry. Only if you are willing to rise. Only if you are willing to bounce back. How willing are you to get out of that funk? How willing are you to get out of your lowest moment? How willing are you to get out of that space that it seems like all walls are crumbling in on you? How much are you willing to get out of there? Right? How willing are you, or what work are you ready, or are you willing to put in order to rise again, in order to bounce back, in order to get up from here, in order to get out of that situation that you find yourself, in order to get out of that space that it doesn't seem like everything is going well for you? How willing are you? Right? Because guess what? Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it is that quiet voice that we have, that silent voice that we hear. That is courage. That quiet voice that tell us that we can do it again. That quiet voice that says that all is not lost. That quiet voice at the end of the day saying that I will try again tomorrow. Are you willing to try again tomorrow? Oh, that marriage didn't work for me. That job didn't go well for me. That business didn't go well for me. And so I'm throwing it. No. And so I'm going to keep trying. I wrote that exams I failed, but I'm going to keep trying. I wrote that exams I failed. I'm going to keep working. Right? I'm going to keep working. Oh, but because I failed, I will not do it again. No, get up. The Bible says that get up, guard yourself, and keep pushing. Right? So, in our difficult moment, in our day to day activity, in the moment where we fall, in the moment where it seems like all is lost, that courage, that inner voice, dig deep and find that small voice that says, it is not over yet. That says, it is not done yet. Find that and rise again. Find that. Find that. Because we see so many people giving up just because they failed once, just because things haven't gone well for them, just because the time that they set for themselves, they were not able to achieve whatever they set to achieve. Me say, thanks for jumping on here. Because that time that you set for yourself, that achievement didn't happen. You're giving up. No, rise again. Keep moving. Keep pushing. Keep going strong. Because if it did not happen today, that means that it wasn't yet time. That means that you got to try a little harder. That means that all is not done yet. Bounce back. Rise again. Because courage is that small voice that says that I will try again tomorrow. Right? See it at everything that you want on the other side of fear. So put the fear on the side. Right? Find it as though that thing that I want to do, if I get off that fear, if I get to the other side, I will achieve it. Everything on the other side of fear. Right? Guess what? Tough times will come, but tough times wouldn't last. If you are willing to keep pushing, if you are willing to keep working, if you are willing to keep going, if you are willing not to throw in the towel yet. Tough times never last. Tough people last. Somebody should write it in the chat for me. Right? Tough times don't last. It is only the toughest people that last. So, what are you going to be? Are you going to crumble at the least of the problems? Are you going to crumble when those struggles come? Yes, I let go of that. But that doesn't mean that you are going to stop trying. Right? Be that tough person, because you will never know how strong you are until you are willing to grow, until you persist, until you are willing to push in the work. You'll never know how strong you are on your strength, on your growth, on your resistance, until you are willing to persist. Romy, how are you doing? Right? Because guess what? Rome was not built in a day, right? To be successful up here, you gotta keep trying, even when you failed, right? To be successful, you gotta keep trying, even when you have failed, right? Do not let the problems of today prevent you from trying again. Do not let your struggles of today prevent you from going back again to that same thing that you want, because you started for a reason, right? Because guess what? These are your storms that will make you grounded. These are your storms that will make you stand firm. These are the storms that will make you keep pushing. Only if you do not throw in the towel. Only if you are willing to bounce back. Only if you are willing to rise again. How willing or how are you going to put in that work? What are you willing to do to put in that work? What are you willing to do to get going again? What are you willing to do to bounce back again? Right? Because guess what? Growth and comfort, they don't coexist. One has to go for the other to emerge. So, what is it going to be? Your growth or that comfort? Your growth or that failure? Your growth or that pain? Your growth or you staying okay in this space? Are you willing to bounce back? Are you willing to rise again? A little progress each day gets you there. Angela, how are you doing? A little progress each day gets you there. As far as you've made it a point to rise again, as far as you've made it a point to bounce back, as far as you've made it a point to keep going, right? It's little progress you're making. As far as you are willing to bounce back, you are willing to put in the work, you are willing to get out of where you are to where you need to be. And not saying, I failed, so I'm not doing it anymore. I failed, I'm not trying anymore. I failed, nothing. See, as a man thinking, as I said earlier on, so is he. And whoever we think we are, we attract. So what are you attracting? Doubt, fear, failure, the negatives? Is that what you are attracting to yourself? Look yourself in the mirror and say to yourself, yes, I might have failed today, but I'm a bounce back. I might have failed today. I will come back again. I might have failed today. I will redo it. Right? Look yourself in that mirror and say that to yourself. Oh, this failure is just for a brief moment. This failure is just for a little while. This failure is not going to last. Because guess what? I will bounce right back. Because guess what? This is not the end of me. Because guess what? This is just but temporary. Mackenzie, how are you doing? Right? Believe in yourself and believe in all that you are. Believe in your ability. Believe in what you carry. Believe that you have what it takes to bounce back, to rise again. Believe that. Because when you do that, that is half of the work done. That does not mean you shouldn't be real. That does not mean you shouldn't call it as it is if there is a problem. Yes, we are going to call it and we are going to find solutions to it. Yes, we are going to call it and we are going to find ways and means around it. Yes, we are going to call it and we are, my brother Richie, I see you here, and we are going to bounce ourselves back of that situation, that scenario. Oh, but Amanda, it is difficult. Yes, sometimes it might be difficult. But little drops of water, little steps, tiny steps will get you there. Right? Tiny steps will get you there. Right? Because there is a saying, if you are going through hell, keep going. You keep going doesn't mean you are not finding solutions to that problem. Right? Find that space that you are comfortable at. Right? And start from there. Gradually working your way out. Start from there. Gradually working your way out. Start from there. Gradually putting things in perspective. Start from there. How do I bounce back? Right? But Amanda, how do I bounce back? How do I start again? How do I move from this form? How do I move from this space that I feel like all is lost? How do I do that? How do I acknowledge that setback? Acknowledge that struggle. Acknowledge where you are. Acknowledge that space that you find yourself in. Acknowledge it. Right? Acknowledge it. This is my situation. This is what I'm dealing with. This is what I have to do. Right? Acknowledge that. Because most of us, we are not acknowledging what we have in our hands. Right? Acknowledge that. And you acknowledging it, it doesn't mean that you have accepted defeat. Right? Guys, double tap for us. In you acknowledging that doesn't mean you have accepted defeat. It only means that you are not ignoring the fact that there is a problem. So acknowledge that setback and don't dwell too much on it. I said, face the reality. Because guess what? Ignoring it won't let it disappear. Accept what happened and move on. Accept what happened and figure out what you have to do to bounce back. Accept what happened and figure out where exactly you need to start again from. Right? Accept that. And in acknowledging that setback too, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. You are nothing but you. Give yourself grace. Mistakes and failures happens. They are part of our growth journey. They are part of our evolvement. Avoid self-blame. Too much of it. Avoid it. Right? Avoid it. Avoid that self-blame. Write them emotions down. My brother Richie, how are you doing? Write those emotions down. Write them down. Write down your thoughts. Write down your thoughts, your emotions. Right? Thoughts that can be processed and see things more clearly. Right? Face that reality. Give yourself grace. Avoid that self blame. Right? Journal your emotions, write them down because they are not going to go away. Right? Because sometimes you do have to fight a battle more than once to win. My brother Kwame Testimony says, great job. Brother Richie says, avoid self-blame. Sometimes you gotta fight it more than once to win. Right? Reframe that setback. That is a second main topic. Reframe it. That setback as a setup for growth. Rewind it, rewire it, re-maneuver it, however you want it, but reframe it by asking yourself, what can I learn from this? What have I learned from this? How do I step forward from here? Because guess what? Every failure contains a lesson. Every failure brings us something that we have to experience, something that we have to learn from. Right? Every failure brings that. Every failure is a lesson. What lesson are you learning from that? Right? What are you learning from that? Right? What is that one thing that you learn from that situation? You learn from your failure. You learn from that shortcomings. Right? Change your perspective. Change the way you think. Change the way you see things. Change how you see things. Guys, double tap, give us some likes. And let me know what your thoughts are in the chat. Right? Change your perspective. Instead of why did this happen to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? What is it teaching me? Right? What is this teaching me? What is this telling me? Right? What is it telling me? Right? What exactly am I learning from here? Right? That is what you have to ask yourself. I went through that. I'm going through this. What am I learning from this? I'm going through this. How do I get out of here? Or what lesson did I get from here? How do I reshape it? How do I think it through? How do I see myself on the other side of the line? Right? That is what you have to ask yourself. One sec. Right? That is what you have to ask yourself. Do we ask ourselves that question? No, we don't. Right? We don't ask ourselves that questions. We are always asking, why did this happen to us? But ask, what am I learning from it? What did I learn from this? Right? How did I get here? What do I have to do to get out of here? That is what we have to ask ourselves. I said, remember, rejection is often a redirection. Sometimes setbacks push you towards that better part, push you towards that space you're supposed to be in, that space you are ordained to be in, right? Sometimes that is what setbacks mean, being redirected, right? Being redirected. Right? So redirect yourself. Find yourself that space to learn, right? Because a setback is a comeback. Strengthen that mindset of yours. Replace negative self talk. We always say this, right? Replace that negative self talk. Amber, how are you doing? Good afternoon, Cakes. How are you doing? Replace that negative self talk. Instead of you saying, I failed, say, I'm learning. Instead of you saying, nothing good is coming out of me, say, I will do well. I need to learn. It is only but a matter of time. Right? As I said, if you don't know what this is a Dose of Encouragement Inc. We come your way every Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard, right? 12 p.m. GMT time. So this is other side of what we do, right? Our main umbrella is supporting the needy in any way, shape, or form that we can in our little small way. And on weekends, we learn from each other. As I always say, you learn from me, I learn from you, right? That is what we are doing here. So welcome, 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 welcome. If this is your very first time here, let us know. Let us know. Let us know. Let us know. All right. Let us know. Thank you. And double tap for us for my TikTok viewers, as well as our Facebook viewers, as well as our YouTube viewers. Right. So ask yourself, or say to yourself, I am learning. Enough of the negative self-talk. Enough of pulling yourself down. Enough of those words that doesn't do anything but pull you down and demean your spirit. Enough of it. Right? Lift up yourself. Surround yourself with positivity. Nisa, how are you doing? Right? Listen to uplifting content. Read inspiring book if you may. Connect with people that engage you to get out of that funk, people that engage you to get out of that space you find yourself, people that wouldn't pull you down but help in your upliftment. We all have those days where we want to do the negative Nancy, but snap out of it as soon as you can. Bounce back from every setback that you find yourself in. Bounce back, right? Practice gratitude. Oh, I failed today, but I'm grateful that I learned something from that failure. I failed today, but I'm grateful that it gives me the opportunity to redo this. I failed today, but I'm happy that I will get to retry tomorrow. That courage, that little voice, that inner voice that say to you that it is not over, but you are going to try again tomorrow. Gratitude in rising again. Gratitude in bouncing back. Gratitude in where you find yourself. Don't doubt yourself. Don't throw in the towel. Don't say nothing good is going to come out of you. What you facing is only to shape you, is only to give you another perspective to look into what you are dealing with, to reshape how you see things, for you to jump back on your feet. Right? I said, whatever you think. This is said. This was Henry Ford. He said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. Choose which one you want. So which one is it going to be? I can or I cannot. Right? Which one is it going to be? I can get out of this funk. I can get out of this hole. I can get out of this failure. Be like that camel or that donkey that when the owner intentionally dropped him into that hole, he never sat in that pain. He wailed a little bit, but you know what he did? He started digging the sand underneath him. He started digging gradually and then would jump off it, the heap that he has dug, and he will keep digging and he will shake himself up and he will keep going. That is who we have to be. That is what we have to do. There, we are here. We are down here. All seems lost. All seems like we are not coming out of it. But it's okay. Let me keep pushing. Let me keep going. Let me keep bragging. Let me keep building on me. Let me keep trying again. Right? Let me keep trying again. And by the time he realized he was out of the hole. So keep trying. Little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. Little steps take us to our destination. Little steps get you out of that space that you think that all is lost. Little steps get you in that moment of you trying again, in that moment of you keep pushing, in that moment of you keep going, keep riding on until you say it is over. It is not over. So be like that donkey. Choose which one you want. I can or I cannot. Right? Choose that. Which one is it going to be? I can or I cannot. Which one are you going to be? You can or you cannot. Somebody should put it in the chat for me. Which one are you going to choose? Right? You decide. You have the power to decide what going forward will be like for you. Whether you are going to rise again and bounce back, or whether you're going to sit in that same space you find yourself. Whether you're going to rise back up again, or you will sit in that same funk, or you will sit in that same space, or you will sit in that same struggle, or you will sit without doing anything, without finding ways and means to get yourself out of here, without finding ways and means to keep pushing, without finding ways and means to keep going, without finding ways and means to get up again and build for you. Take that small steps. Rebuild that confidence, right? Rebuild it. Rebuild that confidence. Get yourself an action plan. That is where the vision board comes back in. What are you willing to do? What do you want to work on? How do you want to start it? I said, break your next step into small little goals. Excuse me, small achievable goals. Rise up. Bounce back. Start with a win. Do something productive to attitude, to build your stand, right? Build it. Stay disciplined. We want to achieve our greatest, but we are not putting in the work. We are not being disciplined about it. Motivation fades, but discipline keeps you moving. Be disciplined to the core. Be disciplined to what you want to achieve. Be disciplined to that goal. Be disciplined to that dream of yours. And stay disciplined. It doesn't matter how slow you go. What matters is how long you're going to keep going. It doesn't matter how slow you go. As long as you keep going, as long as you keep striving on, as long as you keep taking that step, you will rise again. You will bounce back. Right? As long as you do that, you will bounce back. Many times we doubt ourselves. Many times we see ourselves as nothing good coming from us. Many times we see ourselves as, oh, we are failures. Many times we see ourselves as though we don't matter, but we do. You matter. You deserve everything that you have set for yourself. You. And I mean you that are listening to me. You matter. What is left is you deciding if you are going to bounce back from that space that you're in, from that struggle that you're in, from that situation that seems like it's been hopeless all this while. If only you are willing to take that little step, if only you are willing to take that little journey, right? Rise again. Rise again. Develop that resilience routine. Keep moving forward no matter what. No matter how the struggles are, keep moving forward. Keep rising again. Keep bouncing back. Let that be here. Let that be your motivation, that when you are able to get to where you need to get to, it will only be by a matter of time for things to start shaping in a manner that you want. Because you know what? You didn't give up. You didn't give up. Rise again. Stay persistent. Stay adaptable. Sometimes all it needs is you giving yourself a shake. Sometimes all you need is you adapting a little bit to that situation. Sometimes all you need is you adapting to that formula. Enough of doing things the same way every day, every time. Enough of being that old school. Enough of not wanting to try any new things. Adapt, right? Adapt. Be willing to change your approach, but never give up on yourself. Yes, I'm willing to adapt so I can get to my destination. I am willing to adapt so I can get to my result. I am willing to adapt so I can get to where I need to get to. Right? User Yabi, how are you doing? Guys, double tap. If you are on TikTok, double tap for me so TikTok know that I am here. Right? Adapt to that situation. Right? Be willing to change the way you do things to be able to get to that goal that you're looking for, that goal that you are looking to achieve. Adapt to it. Right? Adapt to it. Don't sell yourself short. Rise again. Rebuild again. Bounce back from that space. Bounce back. Right? Bounce back. And don't stay in that same space. Don't stay in that struggle. Don't stay in that. Don't stay down. Let me put it that way. Oh, Amanda, I have tried. Keep trying. Oh, Amanda, it feels like me giving up. No, don't give up. Because your setbacks don't define you. It is how you respond to it. So, how are you going to respond to that setback? How are you going to respond to that failure? How are you going to respond to that thing? Keep pushing, keep believing, and trust in your greatest potentials to still be ahead. You need to be willing to bounce back. To be ahead, you need to be willing to rise again. You need to be willing to get out of that floor. You need to be willing to get out of that rock bottom. Because a man is not measured by how tall he is standing, but how many times he rises every time he falls. So, how many times are you going to rise up? How many times are you going to bounce back? How many times are you willing to work on that same goal that it seems that you've been working on, but you haven't gotten result to get to that result? How willing are you to not only keep digging the sand underneath you, but shake it off you and jump out of the hole? How willing are you? This is the question I want to leave us with. How willing am I to work back again, to get back on my feet again, to get out of this funk, to get out of this hole, to get out of this rock bottom. How willing am I to push myself? How willing am I to dig that deep, to get that small little voice that says that you can try again tomorrow? How willing are you to rise again? Bounce back, bounce back. You can rise again. You can do it again because you haven't been in this space all your life. There was a point where you were up here. There was a point where things were going well for you. There was a point where things seemed rosy. There was a point where you were happy again. There was a point where you were okay. There was a point where you had said to yourself that you can do it. There was a point where you didn't let anything tear you down. There was that point. So find that inner voice and get back there. Find that inner voice and start going back there. Find inner voice and take one step at a time. Find it. Find it. We are who we want to be. We are who we think we are. We are who we attract. As a man thinketh, so is he. As a man position in his heart, so he becomes. So what are you prepositioned in your heart? What are you telling yourself that you can be? What are you saying to yourself that you can do? You are the decision maker. So if you choose to stay at rock bottom, that's where you're going to be. If you choose to get up, guard yourself, and keep taking that little steps, that is what it's going to be. So I'll leave you with this. Let's go out there this week and start taking that little steps. Let us have the mentality of rising back. Let us have the mentality of we can do it again, spirit. Let us have the mentality of I will rise again, spirit. Let us have the mentality of, hey, I might be down here, but I will do it again. Thank you for joining me once again. This is a dose of encouragement, and we come your way every Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard, 12 p.m. GMT time. If you have not checked us out, please do well to look at our website, www.adoei.org, and let us know how we can be of support to you. As I said, our main umbrella is to support the needy in our own little way, shape or form that we can. And on Saturdays, we learn from each other. I learn from you, you learn from me. Because we believe in not leaving any man behind. We believe in holding our hands side by side as we keep going. Thank you. My name is still Amanda Kofiai, your founder and host of A Dose of Encouragement. I thank you for joining me. Thank you for your support. And thank you for pushing ADOEI to the world. Until I come your way again, I salute you and I sign out. I will see you again next Saturday. Bye for now.